fills me in the air, it shivers cold and thin.
Echoes of the Forgotten Bride. Episode 4, To Hold the Sea at Bay. There are people who speak to the ocean, and there are those the ocean speaks back to. The wise learn to stop listening. This is the fourth echo. Alistair Crane's wife drowned on a Tuesday. Clara had gone for her usual morning swim. The sea had been calm, the weather perfect. She was a strong swimmer, had been swimming that beach since childhood. But the ocean doesn't care about strength, doesn't care about routine, it takes what it wants. They found her body 3 days later, washed up on the rocks near Widow's Cove. The coroner said she'd drowned, no signs of struggle, no explanation, just another tragedy in a town built on tragedies. Alistair buried her, accepted condolences, went through the motions of grief that society expected. But grief, real grief, doesn't have motions, it has teeth, and it was eating him alive. The haunting started 2 weeks after the funeral. Alistair would wake to puddles of seawater on the bedroom floor, pools that led from nowhere to his side of the bed. The water was always cold, always smelled of salt and something deeper, something ancient. He'd hear Clara's voice at night, coming from the bathroom, from the kitchen sink, anywhere water gathered. Alistair, Alistair, I'm so cold, I'm so alone, please, please come find me. He told himself it was grief, hallucination, the mind creating what it desperately wanted to be real. But then the taps started turning on by themselves. The shower would run at 3 in the morning, the toilet would overflow. Water, always water, filling the house like the sea was trying to reclaim what it had taken. Alistair stopped sleeping, started drinking, the days blurred together, work became impossible, friends stopped calling, he was drowning on dry land. He was dying slowly, and part of him welcomed it. But another part, the part that still had Clara's laugh echoing in his memory, wanted to fight. Wanted to find a way to either bring her peace or banish her completely. That's when he heard about the woman in the woods. Old Marcus at the hardware store mentioned her, casual, like he was discussing the weather. You've got that look, the haunted look, water ghost. Alistair stared at him, how did you know? Marcus shrugged, Haven's End, towns built on the bones of drowned sailors. Water takes a lot of people here, and some of them don't like staying taken. You need help, there's a woman, lives deep in the coastal woods, Selene. She knows things, old things. Selene what? Just Selene, you'll find her if you're meant to. Follow the path past Mercy Creek. When the trees start growing strange, you're close. Alistair didn't believe in witches, didn't believe in magic. But he also hadn't believed in ghosts until his dead wife started calling to him from the plumbing. He went. The path past Mercy Creek was barely visible, overgrown. The trees did grow strange here, twisted, their branches forming shapes that looked almost deliberate, almost intentional. He walked for an hour, started to think he'd been sent on a fool's errand. Then he smelled wood smoke. The cottage appeared suddenly, as if it had decided to be seen. It was small, old, built from driftwood and stone. Wind chimes made of shells hung from the eaves, creating a music that sounded like the sea itself. A woman stood in the doorway. She was ageless, could have been 30, could have been 60. Her hair was long and silver dark. Her eyes were the green of deep water. She wore layers of fabric that moved like waves. You're Alistair, Clara's husband. How did you? She smiled. It wasn't a kind smile, it was knowing. I've been expecting you. The sea tells me things, and Clara's been very loud. Can you help me? Can you make her stop? I can, but there's always a price. I'll pay anything. Selene's smile widened. They all say that, come inside. The cottage was larger inside than it should have been, filled with things from the ocean. Shells, coral, bottles of sand, jars of water that glowed faintly, and everywhere hanging from the ceiling were charms, strange weavings of rope and bone and silver. These are wards, they hold the sea at bay, keep it from claiming what it wants. You're not from Haven's End, are you? Selene poured tea. No, I'm from older places, places that understood the ocean before it had a name. I came here because this town is a wound, a place where the barrier between water and life is thin. I've been here a very long time. Can you free Clara? Send her on. Selene's expression changed, became something almost like pity. Clara doesn't want to be freed, she wants you. The drowned always want the living. It's not malice, it's loneliness. The deep is so very lonely. Then what can you do? I can create charms, strong ones. They'll keep her spirit from manifesting, from reaching you. You'll still feel her sometimes, a chill, a whisper, but she won't be able to pull you under. Alice. Tare felt hope for the first time in weeks. Yes, please, whatever it costs. Selene leaned forward. The cost is this. I need things, specific things, from the shore, from the sea, from the places where water and land meet. Each charm requires ingredients that are difficult to obtain, and you must be the one to get them. What kind of things? For the first charm, I need water, but not any water. Water from the lungs of someone who drowned, fresh, collected before the body is found. Alistair felt sick. That's impossible. That's grave robbery. That's the price. The charms work because they understand death. They speak the language the drowned speak. Without the proper ingredients, they're just rope and shells. I can't, I won't. Selene shrugged. Then Clara will eventually pull you under, in your sleep, in your bath. One day you'll hear her voice and you'll follow it into the water and you won't come back. It's not a question of if, it's when. Alistair stood. This was insane. He should leave, report her. But where would he go? Back to the house that smelled of seawater and death. Back to the sleepless nights and Clara's voice begging him to join her. He sat back down. Tell me what you need. The first ingredient was the worst. Alistair had to wait, had to listen to the emergency scanner he bought, had to become a vulture. A week later, a fisherman drowned in a storm. His body was found caught in his own nets. Alistair got there before the Coast Guard, used a syringe, drew water from the man's lungs, tried not to vomit, tried not to think about what he was doing. He brought it to Selene. She took it without judgment, began her work. The charm she created was beautiful in a terrible way, woven rope in intricate patterns, a piece of coral at its center. She whispered over it in a language that sounded like waves breaking. Hang this over your door. Clara won't be able to cross the threshold. Alistair did. That night, for the first time since her death, the house was dry, silent. He slept 8 hours without waking. It worked. But Selene had been clear. One charm wasn't enough. The protection had to be layered, reinforced, or Clara would find a way through. The second ingredient was a whisper caught in a seashell. Alistair had to go to the beach at midnight, had to listen to the shells until he heard one speaking. Clara's voice, distant but clear, trapped in the spiral of a conch. He brought it to Selene. She added it to a new charm, this one he wore around his neck. The third ingredient was the shadow of a wave at midnight. Alistair had to capture it on paper, use silver ink, the exact moment before a wave broke. It took him 17 nights to get it right. Selene smiled when he brought it. You're learning. The sea has rules, patterns. You're beginning to understand them. And with each charm, Alistair felt safer. The house was dry. Clara's voice faded. He could breathe again. But he was also changing. The things he'd done, the moral lines he'd crossed, they weighed on him. He'd stolen from the dead. He'd violated something fundamental. And he'd started spending more time with Selene. She was unlike anyone he'd ever known. She spoke of the ocean like it was alive, intelligent, hungry. She told him stories of other coastal towns, other curses, other people who'd made deals. You're not the first one to come to me, and you won't be the last. Haven's End has always needed someone like me, someone to hold the line. Why do you do it? Why help people? Selene was quiet for a long moment. Then, because I was like Clara once, I was chosen by the sea to be its bride, to drown and serve it forever. But you didn't. No, I fought, I ran, I learned the old magic, the ways to refuse what the ocean claims. But I can never leave the shore. If I go too far inland, I feel it pulling me back. And if I go into the water, I'll be claimed, so I stay here, in between, helping others avoid my fate. That's why you know how to make the charms. Yes. Alistair reached out, took her hand, it was warm. Human, real, I'm sorry, that must be lonely. Selene looked at him, her eyes were ancient and sad. It is, but you understand loneliness, don't you? You and I were both trapped by the sea, just in different ways. Something shifted between them, an understanding, a connection. They began spending more time together. Alistair would visit even when he didn't need a charm. They'd talk, share meals, sit in comfortable silence. The isolation that had nearly killed him was being healed, not by forgetting Clara, but by accepting that life continued, that connection was still possible. And slowly, carefully, they fell in love. It wasn't the passionate, all-consuming love he'd had with Clara. This was quieter, deeper, built on shared trauma and mutual understanding. Selene understood his guilt, understood his grief. She didn't ask him to forget Clara, just to live alongside the memory. And Alistair understood Selene. His exile, her eternal vigilance, her loneliness that spanned decades. They needed each other, and that need became something more. But Clara's spirit noticed. The charms held, but Alistair could feel her anger growing. The house grew colder, the charms began to tarnish. At night, he'd wake to find seaweed on his doorstep, shells arranged in threatening patterns. She knows about you and Selene, and she's not happy. Can the charms hold? Selene looked worried for the first time. Maybe, but Clara's getting stronger, angrier. Jealousy is a powerful emotion. It feeds hauntings, makes them more solid, more dangerous. Then what do we do? There's one final charm, the strongest, but it requires the most difficult ingredient. What? Something of Clara's, something she loved, something that ties her to this world. If we sink it in the deepest part of the sea, if we give it back to the water, she'll have to follow it. It will break her attachment to you. Alistair knew immediately what that was, the locket, the silver locket with her picture inside, the one he'd given her on their wedding day, the one she never took off, the one they'd buried her wearing. I'd have to dig up her grave. Selene nodded, yes. I can't, that's too far, that's desecration. Then she'll destroy you, and probably me too. The sea doesn't share. Clara was claimed by it, she belongs to it now, and it's using her jealousy to try and claim you. This is the only way. What about you? What do you get out of this? Why help me at all? Selene's face crumpled, because I'm tired of being alone. Because for the first time in 70 years, I've felt something like hope. Because I love you, Alistair, and I don't want to lose you to the same force that's held me prisoner all this time. Alistair pulled her close. They held each other. Two people damaged by the ocean. Two people trying to carve out something real from the wreckage. I'll do it. I'll get the locket. That night, Alistair returned to the cemetery. The ground was soft from recent rain. He dug, his hands blistered, his back screamed, but he kept going. He reached the casket, opened it. Clara's body had begun to decay, but the locket was still there, around her neck, still shining. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, but I have to let you go, I have to live. He took the locket, closed the casket, filled the grave, tried not to think about what he'd become. He brought it to Selene, she held it reverently. This will work, but we have to do it together, at the deepest point, just before dawn. They took Selene's small boat out before sunrise, rowed to the place where the water turned from green to black, where the shelf dropped away and the sea became bottomless. Selene created the final charm. She wove the locket into a net of silver thread and seaweed, whispered over it, bled onto it. This will take her, but it will also take part of me, part of my power. I'm giving up some of my protection to free you. Do you understand? Alistair understood. She was sacrificing her own safety for his. What will happen to you? I don't know, but it's my choice. For the first time in 70 years, I'm choosing something. I'm choosing you. They kissed, then together, they dropped the charm into the water. It sank slow, glinting, disappearing into the dark. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the sea began to churn. Waves rose from nowhere. The boat rocked violently. And Clara appeared on the water's surface, walking, running, reaching for Alistair. No, you're mine, you promised forever. I did and I meant it, but forever ended when you died. I'm sorry, Clara, I loved you. I'll always love you, but I can't follow you. I choose to live. Clara's face twisted, with rage, with betrayal, with heartbreak. Then the charm pulled. She looked down, saw the locket sinking, saw the thing she'd loved being taken to the depths. She screamed and dove after it, down into the dark, chasing the last piece of her life. The sea calmed, the sun rose, Clara was gone. Alistair and Selene rowed back in silence, exhausted, changed, free. At the shore, Selene stumbled. Alistair caught her. You okay? She smiled, weak but genuine. The protection I gave up, I can feel it. I'm more vulnerable now. The sea will call to me stronger, but I made the choice, and I'd make it again. Then we'll protect each other. You kept the sea from me, I'll keep it from you. They walked back to Selene's cottage, to the space between water and land, the place where they'd both chosen to make a stand. Alistair's house remained dry, silent. Clara's presence was gone, not forgotten. He'd never forget her, but released, finally at peace. He moved into the cottage with Selene, helped her make charms for others who came seeking help, learned the old magic, the ways to hold the sea at bay. Together they were stronger than apart, two people who'd been claimed by the ocean, two people who'd said no. The sea still called to them sometimes, wisp. Red promises offered rest, but they had each other, and that was louder than any ghost, stronger than any tide. Love isn't about possession, it's not about forever unchanging and absolute. Love is choice, daily, conscious, the decision to stay, to fight, to live. And sometimes love means letting go, so that both of you can be free. The sea remembers, but those who survive it remember too. And their memories, their choices, their stubborn insistence on living, those are the strongest magic of all. This has been Echoes of the Forgotten Bride, Episode 4, To Hold the Sea at Bay. Join us next time for Episode 5, The Banquet of Salt and Sorrow. Until then, remember that some prices are worth paying, and some freedoms are worth any cost.